Wiz Division Productions with the $2. Gundam, do you think Fratanga is secretly a furry? Fratanga.
No, Fratanga is too much of an asshole to be a furry. Fratanga's also kind of like, Fratanga's one of my favorite people. If you don't mind me saying, like, he's a real one. I'm not going to say anything that would incriminate us because we're all criminals on one level or another. But Fratanga's one of the few people I really like in content creation because he's a real dude. He's a normal guy who's just trying to start his drug empire. You know, it's the American dream. God bless him for it.
Yeah, well, oh, right, it's the beginning of March. Gotta get out of this, 1 second. Ow, my stick! There we go. Whoo, fresh air. It's really hot in that persona suit. Well, at the very least, I'm glad you can see what viewers don't. That means a lot, Gundam. It's a total buzzkill to take a look at my subscribers and see a few of them are in the millions of subscribers, but never mention they watch me. It's okay, don't worry.
What do you want me to do? We've been here less than a week and I feel
like it's a year. I hate it here.
I won't tell everybody your secret. I know. Most people wouldn't want to be caught knowing that they're subscribed to me, but at least have some balls like Gundam and just say it. I really don't know how it's physically possible to have people that big watching me and I remain so insignificant. But whatever it is, it's probably for the best because I am a walking nightmare. I wouldn't want to feature myself if this was my own website. Look, if you want to do YouTube for a living, my recommendation, throw your integrity away, take the bag. If you want to be in good standing with developers for your analytics, for your channel, for your review codes, for your funding, be my guest. But me, I can't take money from the very same industry that has been so anti-white, anti-male, and anti-straight. So excuse me if I seem dumb for saying no to the cash, or early access, or review codes. If I really do like something, you'll know it comes out of a place of legitimacy. I ain't telling you to play Yakuza because Sega generously gave me something. I ain't telling you to play Payday 3 because I was generously flown out to play it and treated like a king. Hey! We ain't afraid to step on toes here. And you know what? It's something people value, as small and niche of a crowd as it can be. Because while we have plenty, and I mean plenty of Jim Sterlings, you know, the type to only really report on the injustices of corporate behavior, you notice many of them do not have a set big enough to cover the other side to that corporate corruption. You know, like things involving the ESG. Because much like their video game opinions, the political opinions of all these content creators is bought and paid for. Or at the very least, they're trying to reach that point. Hence why you had jackasses actually trying to defend Suicide Squad.
Prior to the release, Leno was saying Kill the Justice League was going to be good. Got to continue the narrative. No. See, what you're doing is you're insinuating that I'm being dishonest. I'm the first person to throw up a thumbnail. It's like, I was wrong. If I was wrong about this game, I would have been the first person to say it.
Trying to convince you this game was worth your time and money, and dismissing all political propaganda that's clearly shoved in their faces. An entire generation of so much clout that is so useless because they must compromise so much of what they want to say in order to be on good terms with these companies. Because if you don't think Rocksteady wrote themselves out a nice long blacklist of everybody that was criticizing their game, then I've got a bridge to sell you. Those developers knew exactly what they were doing, selecting a company like Sweet Baby Inc. to come help them write. The last thing they want is to hear a bunch of people telling them I told you so. I don't really know what we, gamers, as a group are supposed to do to convince these corporations. If the reception, the sales, and the reviews are not reflecting enough, what's it going to take? Because there is no signs that Sweet Baby Inc. is gonna stop being handed projects to work on. They're like the version of Anita Sarkeesian that actually did receive the key to the city, working on some of the biggest games of the year, and actually being given a place at the table to sit and talk with the developers and the writers. Like, it just seems comical, right? It doesn't seem possible that something so ineffective perspective continues to be used so much. You know what the best part is? When people like me were talking about Sweet Baby Inc. a few months back, so much of the criticisms I had and others had were so easily dismissed and swept under the rug by other content creators who assured you it's all just a coincidence. There is no woke agenda. It's just money. It just involves money. No, there's a clear woke agenda. You were wrong. I was right. Don't sit there and try to milk this story now like you always cared, because you were all dismissive and full of shit. Oh, but you see, people are getting views talking about it. Now you want to play, huh? Well, as petty as I can be, I'll still take it over you guys being quiet the whole time and saying nothing. The voices we least expected to talk about this, talking about it, is actually good for us. Even if it comes off as disingenuous and fake, it's still better that basically the entire gaming community came together and said, we don't want your woke bullshit in our games. You know how hard it is to get gamers to get together to take a stand against anything? Most of them are killing each other in that same crowd as you're trying to group them together.
Sir, they're killing each other. It's okay, Mr. Dukes. The strong shovel money faster. Let nature take its course.
As glad as I am that the gaming community was finally able to somehow come to an agreement on a cause, the reality of the situation is that none of it would have happened if Sweet Baby Inc. didn't expose themselves, because they are so goddamn incompetent. To the point that people who don't want to talk about it have no choice but to talk about it. One Steam curator has made it their mission to warn gamers if Sweet Baby Inc. is involved with a game. We don't deserve you. We don't deserve you. We really don't deserve you, good sir. You see, social media has conditioned a bunch of brainless people to think that doing stuff like this is what no-lifer, loser, basement-dwelling nerds do. And that's why I salute him, because we know the Alphabet Mafia is going to be after him. I don't think you guys understand how amazing it is that somebody actually cares enough to do this. Because we're living during a time where moderators to websites are complete pussies. Let's not forget how Nexus mods went out of their way to remove a mod that censored the pronouns in Starfield. There is absolutely no reason you shouldn't believe that these lunatics will try to take action, because they will. As a matter of fact, they've already started. A couple of Sweet Baby Inc. employees who seem to have forgotten that they mentioned they work for the company in their bio. Idiots. Stupid. Moron. Couldn't even be bothered to log into your alts. You were that triggered. Like I said, a couple of Sweet Baby Inc. employees who seem to have forgotten that they were logged into their accounts attempted to pull off gay ops.
The curator uses proof of the company's involvement retrieved either through credits uploaded to YouTube or from Sweet Baby's website directly. You can check out the Sweet Baby Inc. Detected Curator here. While narrative consulting isn't an unusual service to offer, critics of Sweet Baby are concerned that the company is more concerned with pushing their own ideological goals than with the quality of the product or its reception by fans.
A targeted harassment campaign against the one curator who is doing nothing more than linking people to your website that shows everyone the games you work on. So by its very nature, it's not even malicious. It's just public info made available to everyone. It's just not everybody wants to click on your website. And if I'm browsing Steam and there's a Sweet Baby Inc. warning, such a tool is even more useful than ad blocker. I get that hurts the feelings of all your higher ups and employees, but what you guys tried to do next actually violated Twitter's guidelines.
The Steam Curator harassment group Sweet Baby Inc. Detected is led by this person. Here's them trying to be slick so they don't get reported. Even with the discriminatory language filed off, the group itself still fails the code of conduct. Anyway, report the fuck out of this group and report the creator since he loves his account so much.
People, I'm telling you, it's what all the ancients said, it's what they warned of, it's what we're dealing with. They're demons. They're frickin' interdimensional invaders, okay?
You pieces of shit. I had a sneaky suspicion you asshats were the ones attacking my channel and several others. You pieces of fucking shit. I will never, ever be dismissive of my sixth sense ever again. Both me and Griffin, we knew it was you guys. We knew you were the ones throwing your weight around, bullying other people for simply being critical of your shitty ass writing. Now look at you. Targeted harassment, you brain dead moron. You realize what you did here violated Twitter's terms of service, right? This is targeted harassment. You are telling your followers to go and report and get this guy's Steam profile removed. What the fuck is wrong with you? Why are all these woke companies that work for the industry so enticed with making gaming miserable for everyone? And this is what I mean when I say I get annoyed seeing other people trying to get in on the sweet baby story. None of you wanted to talk about it until you felt it was safe enough. You came to pick the bones clean when you saw that there was no way you could be harmed. You know, I get it. You seized an opportunity when you saw it. Well, the truth is, some people have more subscribers than talent. They're unable to see what's wrong with something until everyone else points it out. Those of us who can see the cringe ahead of time, well, we're cursed with this gift because it benefits others more than it benefits us. Because some people care more about the voice behind the message than the message itself. And if you're as unlikable as me, people ain't gonna listen. But you are now, because you folks who can't think for your fucking selves need that voice on the internet to tell you what to think. And unfortunately for me, I'm not lucky enough to be one of those commanding voices. But I know you guys are listening, and I want you to hear me when I tell you it's gonna get worse. Sweet Baby Inc. already has the influence that we were worried Anita would have. My channel was directly affected, and not that you guys care, but seeing how far they're willing to go over one Steam user. One fucking Steam user. Shouldn't that be telling enough for you? That basically everything I said about this company being insane was dead on? And now do you believe me when I tell you they're listening? Is the message clear enough for you yet? No? Well, we have a whole other thread from another Sweet Baby Inc. employee trying to speak out of line.
I get to see a lot of tweets somehow blaming diversity as the reason for layoffs. Genuinely as if the economy was doing really great and capitalism simply worked before Miles Morales was Spider-Man. They also don't recognize Miles as Spider-Man. The weirdest part is when I see these takes from developers or people who have dev bios. At least, I don't know, it seems wild that a dev would see thousands of layoffs and blame not the industry giants, but instead a 15-person narrative company founded by a black woman. These people think a company of narrative designers that freelances on projects has somehow single-handedly caused the employment collapse in games instead of, you know, the insane notion of infinite growth or capitalist greed. It's easier to blame diversity than that somehow. I still think it's way more likely that they know that's not the case and are just fine with looking stupid, so long as it justifies them being loudly anti-woke, whatever that means. We all know what it means. The other part of this is it doesn't matter if you tell them the truth. They think DEI just steps in and changes whole games, that creators are forced by some unseen hand. The government, BlackRock, I guess, as well as just person of color in general to make games more inclusive? Fighting misinformation would be great, but social media plus YouTube is not equipped to hold people accountable to doing real research in good faith. Just getting hits and proving their point in the absence of confirmation. It's wild out there. Nothing has changed. Nothing. Sorry. No one thing has changed. The number of people who understand that spreading misinformation just lets them be racist in public with no consequence has increased dramatically. That has changed. Probably requires some fighting from those with authority. Probably. For example, at Steam doesn't have guidelines for curators. As far as I can tell, that would prevent someone from starting a curation group that focuses on, say, Sweet Baby Inc. and warns people to not buy games they're associated with, which could just list any game at all.
yo. You need to stop snitching, Granddad.
Congratulations! You're the reason this tool already has over 34,000 followers on Steam. Bravo, sweet baby. Yet another employee of theirs who seem to have forgotten that they're logged in to their professional account, and yet again targeting a single Steam user. But I love it. I absolutely love it. They have no retort. They must resort to trying to claim it's racism and soft bigotry. You know how these guys are. You can have a content creator like Kyle approach them, a black man, and tell them, or a beaner like me, and they'll still claim we're racist. When in reality, we just see your consultation has not benefited these games at all. How does a group of 15 managed to fumble so many storylines? You guys are working overtime, ensuring everything comes out utter crap, aren't you? Look, I'm only going to talk shit to the Sweet Baby Inc. developers who decided to speak out. So I'm not going to splash on screen everyone who works there. I'm only going to mention the people who directly asked for others to try and shut down a man's Steam account. So whoever works for Sweet Baby Inc., let this be a lesson to you. Let the backlash you're receiving be a reminder to you exactly who you're working for. Think twice about whether or not being associated with this company is good for your career, especially knowing that it's the same company who hired on Maya Kramer. And if you need a catch up on that, well, here's the gist of it.
Before Gamergate, when Aaron was on about how Zoe was allegedly an abuser and manipulator, and was trying to get people to hear his story and stop Zoe being seen as a big moral figure in indie gaming and stop others potentially getting hurt by her. Zoe, it was claimed, had cheated 5 times, and these, at the time, unknown individuals became known as the Five Guys. The claims of cheating, etc. got mockingly said to be conspiracy theory and people making stuff up, and as it was round Quinn for a while, both sides called it the Quinspiracy, a term used by both those who sided with Quinn claiming everyone else was evil and sexist, and these people formed the bulk of anti-GG eventually, and by those who sided with Aaron. Turns out they were all guys. One of them was Maya Felix Kramer, who goes by Lego Butts. When people found out about Nathan Grayson being one of the 5 and started looking into stuff around him and wider journalism, then Gamergate was coined and came into existence. One bit of weird crossover between the journalism ethics stuff and the conspiracy stuff of before was the Fine Young Capitalists and their campaign to help a female developer get experience running a development team and to make the game they wanted with the developer and the Fine Young Capitalists taking a cut of the profits each as such once the game was made, which did happen, by the way, and it's called Afterlife Empire. What came out was an attempt by Zoe Quinn and others to stop the event based on arguments around the definition of a woman, which culminated in Zoe sharing round information Maya Felix Kramer had found as to the identity and even personal phone number of the person who was running the Fine Young Capitalists campaign, doxing the dude, and how no games media had reported on the campaign nor the doxing and attempts to shut it down. The radio silence as such was somewhat deafening round it.
It is crazy. We say to give a woman power is like to give a gun to a monkey.
That's right. Maybe that's a familiar name for all of you. It has been a while since Gamergate has emerged in the mainstream media, but yes, essentially it's the chick who alongside Zoe Quinn allegedly helped in the DDoSing of the Fine Young Capitalists. Now, personally, I don't believe Maya actually went out of her way to do it. She doesn't seem capable of doing something like that, and neither does Zoe Quinn. But association with any of this, yeah, I would not want it on my resume. I would not want people to know I work for this company who has connections that date all the way back to Gamergate. Medicare was right. It's us versus them. Always has been, always will be. Whoever they are that they keep letting into the industry are clearly not people that actually care about video games. They don't care about gamers. They hate gamers. They outright try to make a gamer's life worse. And the worst part is they continue to gaslight us like we're stupid. Pronouns in Starfield are not a big deal. You guys need to get over it. Oh, by the way, we're gonna make sure you can't mod out the pronouns. Oh my god, you guys are so offended by LGBT flags. Look how soft you are. Well, we better go out of our way to make sure you can't mod out the LGBT flags. Oh, what's that? Oh, you guys are so sensitive over seeing the splash screen of our company logo. Oh, what's that? You made a tool to let people know which games we're involved with on Steam? Better go out of our way to remove that. No, fuck you. You are actively trying to shut down thoughts. This is no longer an attack on gamers, it's an attack on a mindset. And it's ridiculous. But whatever, it's the cool thing now. Now everybody is open to talking about it and pretending like they were always following the stories when they weren't. At the very least, we have Asmongold talking about it, so now the normie crowd is listening, which hopefully leads to more. And honestly, I don't feel like I've even done enough. I want to break down all the narrative consultation these guys had in a long form video and tell you exactly why it sucks. Because believe it or not, just simply calling something woke is not enough. We can't cry wolf without showing the attacks. And that's not hard to do. Sweet Baby Inc. has made it way easier to prove to everyone that there is a woke agenda. And if you don't submit to it, well, you've come to the right place. So consider liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. Why did I say consider? Do it. Don't be a coward. And I'll see you in the next video.
Fritonga sucks ass.